Welcome to the show.
I'm Jonah.
I'm Jay Do. It is our coaching hour. Our cash coaching hour on Thursday starts just a few minutes past noon, usually on our Facebook channel. Shout out to the Cash Compound Facebook channel and all of our infinite bankers in our private group. You can join. Also, shout out to our YouTube experience out there at the Banking Bros. We've got a ton of folks who are actually tracking now coming from our YouTube channel. Very excited about you all out there who are watching this broadcast with us. Make sure you comment, chat, questions right there on YouTube. We normally see a few from YouTube out there and a few faithful from YouTube week after week. And also our IG channel. Our IG doesn't get enough love out there, Jonah, but we've been putting content on it for the longest amount of time.
We have. It's been a while.
Maybe Facebook has been a little bit close to Instagram, but I think Instagram, that channel really is what kicked it off for us originally. And this hour is where you can lead the conversation. We have jump off points that we always go into, but if you have questions, comments, or concerns about how you can get into this idea, the save and spend system, what are they talking about? Controlling the cash flow, infinite banking, life insurance. What the heck? I've got questions. We have got the answers. Jonah, what is on your mind so far? I've got some things, but what is on your mind so far this hour today or in the last week?
Well, I've got, like you said, if you've got questions, we've got answers. But to accompany the answers, I've also got sound effects.
Say what?
Okay, so
fun.
if you have a crazy question,
You'll
You'll
if
get
you have
that
a crazy question, I'm absolutely gonna get you with a sound effect. But we've got a few folks who join us normally every single week, and one of those folks has just said hello. So that's Jake Doster. He says that he is coming to us from Woodruff today.
let's go. So we're in the northwest corner of the southeastern state, South Carolina. Woodruff is in our neck of the woods. And by that, I mean it's an hour from here, maybe. I think I've been to Woodruff once. Have you?
Maybe driven through it. I
Yeah.
didn't stop.
Yeah, I think I have. I think I've been to Woodruff one time. I think I remember seeing the main square and the stoplight, or two or three, something like that. So, Jake, glad you are here. Jake is an infinite banker, and what that means is he has joined our community and is practicing the model of utilizing whole life insurance for control and banking. He can use his whole life insurance while he's alive. He's been doing it, and he is in our Facebook group. So jump in there to ask him questions about his successes and what he's doing. Maybe he's paying off bills or financing big investments.
Yeah, Pablo just chimed in and said he's actually watching from Mexico right now.
All right, Pablo. Now, we're in Mexico. That's a big place, baby.
Yeah.
I just had dinner last night with a friend who got back from Cabo, which Jonah and I have both been to. And I don't know if there's many locals hanging out in Cabo, or that is basically just tourism. I'm assuming it's just tourism and the locals work in tourism, but man, beautiful place. We've also been to Cozumel.
Yeah, I've been to a few places in Mexico. So, Pablo, wherever you're from, let us know, and we'll jump in and we'll talk about that a little bit. But we've also got one of our other coaches jumping in here and joining us. So I want to give. He's driving, so it's going to be. We got to make sure that he's safe down there. But I wanted to give him a second to introduce himself.
What's up? What's up, guys? Yeah, I'm driving, so I'm just listening in. And if you need something from me, I'm here. But I'm driving and
Love
learning, driving and learning. So I'm just along for the ride.
Okay, so we've got Sergio. He also lives in the upstate of South Carolina, so he's close by. Now, we help people all across the country. We want you to know that. So if you are in California, Colorado, or in Mexico, we'll point you in the right direction, because this country and the one above us in North America are the two best places to practice the idea of infinite banking. Now, that term may throw you off like crazy. You may not know what that is. But what we are doing here is countrywide, sea to shining sea, and we'll help you wherever you are. So,
Yo
Sergio.
hablo español. Soy
Yeah,
de
right.
Colombia, so I can help my Spanish speakers if you guys need some help. I got you covered.
Yes. Okay. So we've got a native Spanish speaker on our coaching squad here, and he can help you. We'll read him the live stuff that you might type in just in case you have it, Pablo or anyone else. But we are helping all sorts of people. I'm talking black, white, fat, skinny, old, and young get into a place of control of their cash flow and guaranteed income. We can help you do that. The Save and Spend system is where you can ask those questions and be safe around these monies conversations because it is so taboo in so many families.
Yeah. So Pablo says San Luis, and that last word is
Too small for me to read.
It's too small for me. Hold on.
All
Here
right.
we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
It was Spanish. It didn't help to make it bigger. San Luis So Sergio.
Potosi.
Where is
I was
that?
I was at a red light, so I'm driving safe. But I
Okay.
think it said Potosi. I
Is
don't
that
know
near-
what that. I don't know
is-
what that means. I guess that's just like a part of
city.
the town.
Yeah, yeah.
City, yeah.
Is that Monterrey, Mexico City? How many Mexican cities can you name?
I don't
No
know.
clue.
I sent something
Tijuana?
to Mexico once. I tried to check out online and send it to Mexico. Their addresses have way more things going on than American addresses. Lot of I don't know what it was. Suburbs, communities. I don't know what it was. A lot I had to type in.
Cul-de-sacs.
Yeah, but it got there, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like that in Colombia too. It's pretty it's different. Put it that way. It's not weird. It's just different. So
Yep.
same. I don't even know how to get to my home address in Colombia.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's got
All
so
right.
many numbers.
so we are broadcasting to you live for the first time in September. Now, the month of September in the U.S. is Life Insurance Awareness Month. Now, we are going to utilize insurance companies for the guaranteed income we're talking about. Life insurance is the only type of insurance out there, if purchased correctly, we always say custom contracts, that is guaranteed to pay. It is the only insurance, Joe. You know this. We say it all the time. It's
Yep.
the only insurance that has to have a payout because there's a guaranteed loss. So the custom contract starts with whole life insurance. Put some respect on it. Capital W. All right. So Life Insurance Awareness Month. I have a question for you guys. My two coaches here. If nobody asks us other questions, I'm going to start right here. Myth or fact, Sergio? Workplace life insurance is enough. What's your
Ooh. I would I got an interesting perspective.
okay?
I've never had a real, what I would call a real workplace job that actually offered me insurance.
Okay.
But based on the little that I know, no, there's no way it's enough. It's enough to cover them, I would say. I mean, if I was I do have a business. And if I had a bunch of employees, I would make sure that I had enough coverage to cover my assets, which would be my employees, but not enough to cover their families and everything else. So I would
That's a good
assume that
point.
it is not enough.
Well, hey, it's
I would
your
assume that it's not
prerogative.
enough.
Yeah, well, it's your prerogative to come up with your opinion here. And it just hit me once again what Sergio drives. We're looking at him here in his car cam. If you guys are watching us, hopefully you are from wherever you are since we're live. And it's a Jeep. I was reminded, like, what is he driving? Because it looks like he's in a dune buggy with
Right?
literally with a like vacuum next to him. I was like, is that a vacuum hose? What am I looking
That's
at?
funny. No,
that's
this
just the
is
handle.
this is my
Oh, the handle.
my
I can't see.
I'm gonna call it an O crab handle.
Yes.
But there's another word for it.
Yes,
I
this is
don't
a family
cuss.
show. This is a family
Yeah,
show.
I don't cuss, but this is my O crab handle. And I also have a manual. So if I look like I'm off-roading, no, I'm just driving normal. But
Gotcha. Okay.
I thankfully I have insurance.
Okay,
you
so
go.
lifetime insurance. Jonah, what's your take? Myth or fact? How do you take workplace insurance that they offer you for being an employee?
Yeah, I've had a few of those in the past. And so I know kind of the general idea of how they work. If you don't know and you've got insurance through your job, I just chatted with someone 2 days ago that's got insurance through their job. And they said, they literally, and I quote, this lady, she's 58 years old. She's got insurance through her job. And I quote, yeah, I do have that insurance. It's not enough. So I also have this and this and this. She listed like 3 others. So she said it was not enough, but here's why. And here's how it works. They normally take your salary and it's a multiple of exactly just your salary, like just one, or it's a multiple of like 2. So they'll take whatever your salary is times 1, whatever your salary is times 1.5, whatever your salary is times 2, and that's your extent of your life insurance. So you, at the time that I had life insurance through my job, I was making like $30,000, right?
Yeah.
So it's 30. So I think it was 1.5 too. So my total benefit that they gave me was $45,000. And you guys can probably imagine that if I were to pass away and my family only got $45,000, the answer is exactly what Jake says. It is not enough.
It is not. Give us a sound effect.
That's not going to. Oh, yeah, I got him.
Bruh.
It's not enough.
Bruh.
Okay.
Bruh.
All right. So, okay. So Jonah and Sergio agree. Here's my take on it. Ladies and gentlemen, reminder that your workplace insurance also does not commute with you when you leave the job. Now, you often have an opportunity to keep it. You've got like 30 days to call in yourself and say, I will pay for it. I'd like to keep it, those type of things. Also understand that, were you going to say something? Oh, you yawning over here.
Nope.
Okay. Also understand that many of your workplace life insurances are accidental death and dismemberment.
Yeah.
A little ADD out there. I don't think they call it that. I think they call it AD&D. I don't know. Sometimes they abbreviate it. So accidental death and dismemberment also means that the payout may come if you lose a limb.
Yeah.
You lose a limb. Okay, so that's pretty cool, because if you actually lost a limb, they'd pay.
Upset. And you'd
But
want
you'd be
more than
upset.
$45,000 also, because
Right.
that ain't enough if I got
Okay.
no limb.
All right.
Because
So
I got to go back.
yes.
Next
So
month.
a reminder, and then we'll get on to the next idea for you guys. The reminder out there that you can own insurances, life insurance on yourself above and beyond. Some people don't realize that. Oh, you can buy more. It is not enough. You can buy more. You can keep what your job affords you. Okay, but that's not the style of custom contract we're talking about. And trust me, ladies and gents, your family will be miffed if you did not protect your legacy. And that right there is where Sergio comes in. Protect your legacy is what he likes to talk about. And that takes me to myth number 2.
Hold on, we gotta jump in real quick. Jake asked a question.
Go ahead.
We got to make sure we get his question. His question was, what happens to our growth in a policy if the mutual life insurance company goes public?
Good question, Jake. Okay, so now we're getting into the deets here. So let me lay the foundation a little bit more for people, Jonah, and then I want you to answer it.
Okay.
All right, that's cool. All right, so we are talking about often here, we're talking about infinite banking. Now, infinite banking concept is utilizing whole life insurance from a mutual insurance company if you do this inside the U.S., okay? Whole life insurance, it's guaranteed to pay out. It'll last your whole life. There will be a death benefit for your family. So you're covered. Mutual insurance is coming from a type of company.
Yep.
Mutual is a type. It's not the name of a company. It's not capitalized. I know mutual is in lots of the commercials that you see on TV, but it's not a company name. It is a type of company that at the end of the year, their profits become dividends for people who have policies. You guys with me? So hopefully if you followed that, you understand what I just said.
Yep.
Okay, the profits become dividends for the people who own policies. So in the event that this private company, mutual company, fraternal company, there's one more name, mutual, fraternal,
Participating.
like brotherhood. Oh yeah,
I
but
don't know.
yeah,
I don't know where you're going.
well, the types of companies. So
Yeah,
a
yeah.
mutual company is going to be a fraternal company. Those companies will pay dividends, and like a brotherhood or something like that, they will pay dividends. Those companies, what if they stop being a brotherhood? What if they stop being mutual, go public? What if they stop letting you participate? Then, Jonah, what happens?
Yeah. So basically put, what happens to the growth in your policy? The question that Jake asked, nothing. That growth's yours. Once it was announced to you, once it was given to you as a dividend or something like that, that becomes guaranteed, and that's yours. When a company, however, does go public, they normally will have the option on whether or not they're going to continue paying the dividend. So again,
you.
this is
To
to
you.
you. This is very
Yeah.
important. Not the option on whether they're going to honor the contract, not the option on whether they can mess with the guarantees. No. That stuff is set. They just have the option now on whether or not they're going to continue to pay the dividend to you. A lot of companies do continue to pay the dividend because they're not kind of goofy. I don't know. A better
Well,
word to
they'll
put
pay it for a couple of years till
Yeah.
you forget about it.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
they'll pay it on certain policy levels that are big.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we're going to lose this policy on the books unless we give this girl, this guy, the dividend.
Yep.
But if you just bought one of those baby policies out there, Gerber Daisy babies,
You probably, yeah, they might not pay it for a while, but that's really all that happens, Jake. If a mutual company goes public, you may or may not, depending on what type of press release they put out, continue to get dividends.
So let me give you a story. I have policies too in my portfolio in my family. I have 2 policies that I bought from a company that had been mutual for 120 years, and they demutualized. That's normally the word you'll hear on the inside, Jake. Demutualized a couple of years ago after I bought policies. So I've got illustrations with guaranteed death benefits, guaranteed premium payments, meaning it can't go up, it can't get larger. I don't have to pay more. Guaranteed cash values, dividends went away. Dividends went away. So that has happened to every company except about 15 great ones that we might utilize in the last 100 years. So there's about 15 or so left that are great options to still get dividends from. We partner with and provide people with custom contracts at just a handful of those. Great question, Jake.
Yep.
You guys ready for the next myth?
Ready.
Myth, fact, how do you feel about it? Sergio, I'm young. I don't need life insurance.
I'm young and I don't need life insurance. I would say that statement comes from somebody that is uneducated. And the reason that I say that is because that was me. Being uneducated is not an excuse, but yeah, I would say that. And that's also incorrect. That is a myth. Obviously, you're not promised tomorrow. And regardless, the reason you probably say that is because you think it's super expensive or you think it's not in your benefit or in your favor. But if you have the knowledge, the education, I think you ultimately will realize after doing the research that it's super beneficial, and it's actually what the wealthy do in order to preserve their wealth and their capital long term. So I think it's definitely a myth. And that's because I'm very transparently, I didn't get enough coverage for myself until I got married, because I started asking different questions.
There you go. So life experience and education is going to help you. Jonah, here's the question posed to you a little bit differently.
Okay,
I'm too
ready.
young. I don't need it. What are the benefits of getting it young?
Yeah, a lot of benefits. So there's a couple that are really, really, really key. Sergio mentioned one. You don't actually know when you're going to go. That's important because that is a true statement, and everyone in the world is going to recognize that that's a true statement. I think that you should have coverage, period. Secondly, when you're young, a lot of times is when you're healthiest. You actually, generally speaking, get worse as you get older, right? Body starts breaking down, heart starts working harder to pump, right? You start eating and drinking stuff you weren't supposed to eat and drink, and all of a sudden you're a little bigger, a little more unhealthy. And actually buying insurance while you're young, a lot of times, depending on which style you buy, can lock in your good health. And so that means they cannot take the insurance away from you when you are now in bad health, right? And that's actually a super, super important feature. We've got young families. Sergio, you've got young family as well. I hold life insurance on all of my children. One of the reasons I do is exactly what I just told you right now. Well, I've got a 2-year-old and he's fun and we love him. But the reality is he can develop something at 3, at 4, at 5, at 10, at 15. And if I didn't insure him and have income, money, protection that's going to come to my family after this bad thing happens. Hopefully it won't, knock on wood, but who knows, right? If I didn't do that, then I'm just out of luck, because insurance is one of those things you have to buy before you need it. You cannot already be sick and go get it. Does that make sense? You cannot already have a crashed car when you call State Farm. They're not going to send you the check for that. You had to have done that while your car was good. So it's the same deal with life insurance. You got to actually get that insurance while everybody's good. And then when everyone's not good, you'll be able to reap the benefit of it. So that's one of the biggest things that I think why you should buy it while you're young. You're healthy right now, and you might not be healthy forever.
There we go. I love it. Okay, next idea here, fellas, is Sergio, you mentioned it, but I'm single. Why do I need it? Isn't insurance only if I have a +1 and or kids?
Well, I think there's a lot of different reasons for even single individuals to have it. Once again, it just depends on your perspective, on your philosophy on life. But regardless, for me, as a single person, I was not educated, so I didn't have it as a single person. And now thinking back, I'm like, man, like, what if something were to happen? I was going to put that burden on my family. And let's be honest, most of our family members,
your parents, right? Your parents,
yes.
You lived in town with your parents. You're in business with your parents, and they
my brother,
my brother,
somebody in the family would have to cover the loss expenses and anything else that came from that. And ultimately, I think the worst case scenario is you just don't allow people to grieve the proper way. I mean, we don't talk much about graduating, about passing away on you guys' channel, which is fine. But at the same time, I think sometimes I don't think you really understand the value of life until it's almost taken away from you too soon. I know I got a personal experience in that, and
Mm.
so with my little boy, and so now it's just like you just want people to have everything in place. You want to have the protection in place so people can grieve properly. And so for me, very transparently now, being a little bit more mature, it's kind of selfish not to have, if you have the ability and if you have the education, it's kind of selfish not to have yourself protected,
Yep.
because then you're putting that extra stress, unnecessary stress on family members when they should just be grieving.
I agree. The thing about it too, and again, this comes after a little bit of education. So if you're watching our channel right now and hearing this conversation, good for you, right? Because it comes after a little bit of education. But I agree wholeheartedly with what Sergio said, because this is Netflix money that you can go get protection for your family. And so the amount of consumerism we have and watching shows and eating out and whatever, for you not to have. Now, again, if you do not know, then we got to give you a pass. You don't know, right? But if you
Mhm.
know, if you're hearing our voice right now and we're talking about this, it is super selfish, super selfish. Like funerals, cremation, they cost money. Who's
Mhm.
paying for it? If you go and you had nothing, and don't have a family member, a brother, a sister, a mom and dad, a grandma who lives out of town, right? And they want to come and hang out for a little bit. They need to take off work. That's lost income. They need to fly in or drive in. They need to stay somewhere. Does that make sense? Like, this stuff costs money. I think right now in South Carolina, they say the average funeral is at $15,000
Now,
currently.
next week, so very soon, it's next Thursday night. So next week, I will not have this, but the following Thursday, because next Thursday night, I am attending a funeral pre-planning seminar. So I saw a guy at a trade show. He's got the brochure. So I'm going to report on that. How much does it cost? What are all the things that are costs? And like, how do we prep for it? Because I've never been to one. And any of you guys ever been to something like that?
No.
I've never had to
Nope.
cover bills for someone else's passing yet either. But there's plenty of family members around here. They all going to die. And I got 5 siblings. So one of us goes to all funerals. One of us is alone for our funeral. It's wild to think about. So I got to be ready. So I'm going to know those answers about how much it costs. 15 grand is what Jonah's putting in. Sergio, what do you say? In South Carolina, because you live here as well, I'm coming back in 2 weeks with the answers. How much does a funeral cost? And let's
I would
assume
say,
that this is like we're going to put somebody in the ground. We're not going to
right,
cremate them because
right.
they're
So
different costs. I'll figure it out.
yeah, and I think different costs for sure. So I've got a personal story. My
Oh, you
grandfather
got one.
passed away. Like probably one of the closest people in my family. 93 years old, lived an amazing life up until 93, and that was the end of the story. Obviously he's got my dad. He's got 4 other sons and the one daughter, and they all had to pull together money in order to give him the proper
Mm.
celebration.
Yeah.
But yes, they ended up doing a cremation, and so I know for a fact that a good ceremony with cremation on the low end, you're looking anywhere 8 to 10 grand,
Mm.
and on the higher end, you're talking Jonah 15, 20, and then
Yep.
obviously it could be more if you want to do
Yeah.
a really extravagant celebration. But on average, yeah, you're looking anywhere from 8 to 15.
Yep.
Okay.
Now I saw a video recently, Sergio. Give me your thoughts on this. I saw someone that said instead of pooling together to do the funeral costs, the cremation costs, you should have had a conversation pulled together before that to buy the insurance on the
Yes,
parent. So that way you
one
guys all could have gotten checks, which would have covered the costs plus some, depending
Right.
on how
plus
you
some.
set it up.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
Right?
I mean, and ultimately, I don't think it has to be a morbid conversation. I
Yep.
think it's a stewardship conversation, and it's
Mm.
actually a conversation that my brother and I are having now, because once again, I'm so big on education. It's really all about getting educated and having the proper information. So me and my brother are actually having those exact conversations now because of the experience with my grandfather. My grandmother's also getting close to 90. My other grandmother in Colombia, South America, is almost 90 as well. And to be very transparent, those conversations are absolute for them now, because they're
They're too
there's
old.
just
They're too
they're
old.
too old,
Yeah.
unfortunately, for
Right.
the type of planning that we want to do. But for our parents, they're not. So for my
Right.
mom, my dad, I brought the conversation up to my brother. Hey, it's time we start planning strategically, not because it's morbid, because it's responsible.
Yep.
That's stewardship, that's responsibility, that's management. And so for us, we're like, okay, what's the most effective thing that we can do now with whole life insurance to pull our money together, each have a policy for one of the parents, because I mean, realistically, we don't want our parents to pass away, but the odds are that they're going to pass away before us.
Yeah,
And
right.
if they do, we want to be able to set ourselves up to mourn them properly, to celebrate them properly, and also protect our income and their income and for future generations. So
I love it.
there's just so much that goes into those conversations, and it's so empowering when you really start getting the proper information.
Yep.
Okay, very good. Oh, Jonah, go into we got a question, then we're going to go into a chit chat, because you guys just took this to a whole nother level, and we got to talk about it.
I'm happy to do it. So for real quick, shout outs over on Instagram. We see you, Matt. We see you,
Matt
Liz.
Strong.
We see
Liz.
you,
Angel?
Angel? Angelus? I don't know. Whatever.
Angelus?
The problem is it's the handles, right?
These handles.
The people get on there and their handles are like putting all their name together.
Satan's earlobe.
And
I don't
like,
know.
What
should
day
I say
they
that?
were born and who their kindergarten teacher is, and they just put it all together, no spaces.
Right.
And it's tough.
Mr. B. No, he's not on there.
Oh yeah, that'd be crazy. Like us some sub, whatever he says.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a quick question over on YouTube from Anthony. Anthony says, "Can I start with $100 or does it need to be more?" What you got, Jeremiah?
Okay, so Anthony, when we're talking about buying life insurance, which I assume that's what you mean, life insurance, yes, $100 is going to work. However, we're normally on this channel talking about customizing contracts so we can use them while we're alive. We're going to have a different conversation, and there's more education. Theme of today's show from Sergio. More education to help you understand what that number is going to be. So we don't want to tell you the number because you get to pick it. When we're talking about banking, you get to make deposits. I got a bank account, I make the deposits. So I pick the number. But when you're talking about, hey, let's get coverage that matches, equals what they got at my job for me or whatever. Sure, $100 is going to do that. You could pay $100 a month and get it. Your age is going to determine some of that, what type of policy we're talking about. Now, just in case, Anthony, you've already skipped ahead. You're on our YouTube channel and you're watching the Banking Bros talk about infinite banking, policies for cash value. We're probably talking about bigger numbers than that, just so you understand. So ask new questions. We'll give you new answers to make sure I'm on the right track. But appreciate that, Big Tony.
Yeah, I think that was a good question. Good work.
All right, good stuff. All right, let's have a little chit chat, Jonah. Bring it up. All right, we are back. Remember, it's Cash Coaching Hour, where your questions prompt all the conversation, ladies and gents. It's Jadu, Jonah, and Sergio Loaiza from Protect Your Legacy here at the Cash Compound, having this coaching conversation with you each and every Thursday, noon Eastern time. A few minutes after that is when we get started. So shout out to everybody out there. Our chit chat today, we got to go there. We got to tell some of these stories. We got to tell some of these stories about these family members. Now, Sergio, you've gone through a lot. Mm-hmm. Grandpa passed in the last couple of years, and your son was on emergency prayer list earlier this year as well. So here's the question that I want to have the chit chat about. We are siblings. If you guys don't know, the Banking Bros are actually real life brothers as well. We have 4 more siblings. There's 6 of us. We also have the in-laws, right? Several of us are married, previously married. We got some in-laws on this level. So there's like 10 of us. All right. And I don't even know. I should count that before I just call out numbers. Help me out. How many? But anyway, Sergio, you've got one brother. Is that correct?
One brother. He's single.
Okay. He's single. So the question is about buying life insurance. I want to have a chit chat about how do you have a conversation with your siblings about stewardship? You mentioned a second ago. There are plenty of families out there who would never have this conversation. However, I'm on the phone week to week. Jonah, have you been on this phone call as well, where the life insurance conversation is supernatural and not supernatural, but supernatural. And somebody on the phone is like, great, I'm getting everybody on this because we already own life insurance on each other. We already talk about this. We got to make sure the whole system is set up. And I'm like,
I have not heard that.
100%. I have, because I've done these financial family forums, right? And people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to get on here because we own something on someone else, or I own them on the kids still. I still have them, but they're grown now. I guess now we have someone who can talk us through this whole plan. But you're the patriarch of this money conversation and stewardship conversation, as far as I can tell, in your family, Sergio. So how do we have this conversation, and what tips and tricks can you give us to have this conversation with our 4 siblings plus the plus ones?
Right. Well, I think we live in an age of education and social media. So I think it starts with a word called intrigue. Somebody's got to be willing to get educated themselves. So for me, the simplest way that I know about having these very productive stewardship conversations is to help somebody get educated, create intrigue. So what I personally did is I sent videos around the topic of, one of the things that I talk about a lot is, what do the wealthy families do in order to steward their income, to pay themselves first, to protect their legacy, to protect their lifelong, everything that they do. We work so hard. So for me, it's that. It's figuring out what it is that matters to people and showing them educational videos and content around that will get them intrigued enough to be like, wait, I need more information on this. Maybe I don't know what I don't know, because I don't think you really can dive into the deeper concepts of like, what is infinite banking? How do I become my own banker? How do I truly protect my legacy long term, unless you plant the seeds first? So I think that's where you start, is by sending people very simple educational videos that will get their mind turning in the right direction. And I think after that, once people are open to it, like my brother, and they realize the true benefits of what life insurance is really for. And what I mean by that is that, like, living benefits, all these things that, like, life insurance isn't this taboo topic. I realize for me, it's like, the goal is not to make life insurance sexy and cool. The goal is to make life insurance known about how powerful it really is, and why wealthy families have used it for generations to store their capital and to protect their families. And that's the goal. Once people truly understand that, it's a no-brainer to be like, wait, why is everybody not educated on this? Why doesn't everybody know about this? And that's what happened with my brother. It was just seed after seed was planted. And then eventually he was like, wait, well, I can pay off my debt with the strategy that you guys are teaching with the infinite banking bros, like infinite banking and this I can pay off my debt through this strategy and borrow from it and all these concepts. And once it starts dialing in his head, then the conversations get deeper. They're like, wait, well, we probably need to protect our mom and our dad and start planning for future generations as well. So I think that's like the simplest answer, kind of bottled up into a little bit of everything.
Okay. All right. Now, you said this is your younger brother.
No, it's my older brother. So
your older brother.
He's older. Yeah, he's older.
We got baby boy over here talking about it first. That's very interesting. If you are listening to us out there, welcome, and throw in the chat your siblings. How many siblings you got? I want to know. Sergio's got one. He's the baby boy. Put it in the chat and let us know where you fall. In the lineup of our generation, I'm the oldest of 6. There's a brother 2 years my junior, is not in the business with us, and Jonah is 8 years my junior. Then we have 3 half-sisters as well. So, Jonah, I want to know about how you've brought it up, and do not forget how awkward the conversation can be. Meet us on the level some of these people are. You've been in this financial advisory mode for 10 years. Most people are not where you are. So when they bring it up to their family, it's going to be weird.
Yeah, I mean, I think I give you a little bit of a different perspective. If you want to have a serious conversation about anything to people in your family, it kind of starts with you. Actually, it starts with who you are. It starts with what you represent. It starts with your approach. It starts with your demeanor. I mean, it starts with you. Here's why. If every time you talk to your siblings, you are talking about fantasy football, and it's been that way for the last decade, and now you're like, oh, I learned about life insurance and how important it is. I'd like to have a conversation about life insurance. Your half sisters, your sisters already have tuned you out 5 years ago because they didn't care about football. Does that make sense? They don't care. So you have to preface the conversation appropriately. I think that that's kind of my biggest piece of advice for anyone who's out there and wants to have a conversation with their family. Preface the conversation appropriately. If everybody's coming over for Thanksgiving in 2 months, then you need to preface appropriately. Send them an email, write them a text message, call them on the phone and say, when you get here, I have something really important that I want to talk to you about. I'm prepping you now because it's that important. So we're not going to do jokes, and we're not going to, open the 6-pack, and we're going to turn the football game off to have that conversation. I only need 30 minutes, 45 minutes, but it's super serious. And I really want to talk about it. A lot of times that'll do it. Then when it gets to the day, you actually have to go through with that, right? You just got to go through with it. Hey, everybody, remember I told you I wanted to talk for 30 minutes? That time's now. Or what about 2 o'clock? Or what about 3 o'clock? Kill the game, right? Tell everybody to go.
You can wait till the game's over.
You can, but I'm just saying, grab a glass of water, sit down and say, okay, so here's what's going on. I was presented with some information about life insurance. I think it's very important because we don't talk about money in our family. I don't know what everybody's got. Could we take a quick second and go around and do you have it or do you not have it? What's happening here? I want to be prepared and prepped. I that sort of thing. A lot of times that'll do it. Because you preface the conversation appropriately and you are family, they'll listen to you. The problem comes in if you're getting sloshed over Thanksgiving dinner mid-game. You were just yelling at the TV, and then you're like, oh, and by the way, this is important. Pay attention to me. They don't care, and I wouldn't either. I mean, that's just being honest. Like, no, how about that? How about sit down and let me watch? Let me finish the game. Nothing you say at this point can be important. If it was really important, you would have prepped me.
There you go.
You would have prepped me.
You would have called, right? When I want to have a serious conversation, when there is an emergency or potential emergency or a problem, you get phone calls.
Yep.
And everybody knows there's people in your life where if they call and you don't pick up, I'm busy, I'm working, and they call again, okay, I need to step out. They just gave me 2 calls. So everybody, I like it, Jonah. I like it. So here's what I want to know, though. Have you had any of these conversations or tried to have them with any of your family members where it was awkward? It did not work. They did not get it. Their response, they were uneducated. They weren't educated. Like Sergio said, hey, they didn't know. So like they're asking dumb questions or.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I think a lot of that can happen if you're approaching the conversation and you don't have a lot of information, because again, people are going to ask questions. Well, what do you have? Well, what did you do? And if you said, I really want to talk to everyone about life insurance, you better believe they're going to say, well, what's your life insurance when it comes around the table? And if you go, well, I didn't really get it yet. I was going to talk to you. Right. And that makes sense. It makes it awkward immediately because it's like, well, how important is it? You don't have it. Right. You wanted to bring it up and you don't even have it. So explain it to me, because that ain't it. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. And I think that
you got to be careful. I don't know who Jonah's family is. We got to be careful.
I'm saying, I'm
telling you, I don't want to hang out with these people.
No, I'm saying in general, I don't care what the topic is, right? I'm a big sports guy, but if someone walks up and says, oh, pickleball's it. Pickleball's so important. Have you seen this pickleball thing video, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, do you play? No, I don't play. What? Okay.
Yeah.
All your information, I'm gonna rule out. Because
Jonah, I think I love what you're saying, Jonah, because I think it comes down to the questions that we asked.
Yep.
And it all comes down to the posture that you ask them until you come in, especially with family and dynamics. I was listening to a speaker the other day. He is an expert in forensics and an expert in negotiation. And he was just talking about postures, everything, like reframing things. And he was just like, in a family conversation or to like bring walls down, you have to come in. There's 2 ways you can come in. You can come in as an expert, but you better be the expert.
Yep.
But the best way to come in is to come in as a student and just come in and be like, hey, what do you know about life insurance? I'm like, I don't know anything. Even though you might know something, like, what do you know? And you just ask questions, and that way you get all the information from people that they think they know, and they might be wrong, they might be correct, but then now you get to understand first before you're understood. And I think that's one of the best postures to come into any conversation is that, look, just come in with humility and an open mind to like, I'm just a learner. I just want to learn. And you ask questions like my brother, hey, what do you know about life insurance? Have you ever studied it? Do you know anything about it? Do you know how wealthy people? And most people are honest. Some people act like they know, but most people like, you know what? I don't know much about it.
Yep.
And then that's where you can come in and be like, well, maybe we should get educated. I watched a video the other day that said this, and this.
Yep.
So,
I love that too, because if you ask that question, someone instructed me once way back when. They said, you really want, if you've got somebody that you want to talk to that's of a kind of a higher quality, a higher caliber person, they're going to outdo, they make more than you, they have the lifestyle you're looking, right? That sort of thing. You've got like a higher caliber person you want to talk to. The best way to do it is ask for their advice. Hey, I'm interested in your opinion. I need your advice on this, because they're more than likely going to be willing to give it. And that's your end. But then you have to actually do those things. Like you're saying, Sergio, you have to actually sit there and go, hey, I've been learning about life insurance and I'd like to know your take on it, your opinion on it. And sometimes if you have a little bit of information, you can steer or ask new questions to steer what they're going to say, right? Oh yeah, I do like life insurance. I always use term insurance. Oh, that's really interesting to me, because I just kind of Googled term insurance and it says it only actually pays like 2% of the time. Why not whole life? And then you get them talking. Maybe they didn't know that it doesn't really pay out like that. Maybe they're like, well, I just I did term because somebody else told me term. Oh, okay. I'm just looking, and I, like, everybody dies, and I want to make sure that I've got money. I don't want to leave my wife and my family like off, worse off. So I think I'm going whole. I know it's a little more expensive, just based on term and whole or whatever, but whole, I really want it to be there. So I'm gonna pay because I really want it. And I've also heard it's got cash. Have you heard anything about that? And just get them talking. And if you approach it the appropriate way, a lot of times you'll get all the information you were looking for, especially in a family dynamic. You can totally ask that way. But I do think posture, preparation, that sort of thing's important. And even what you said, Jeremiah, about calls, right? That's totally acceptable. I get a text from a sibling. I might respond to you tomorrow, but if the sibling calls me, I'll probably pick up. I don't normally get calls from some of them.
Yeah. Right.
And 2 in a row, I'm picking up.
Yeah. And now, obviously, it's not an emergency. I'm just saying it's like, but maybe 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
If I get a call from one of our sisters, I don't normally get calls from them. We're in the family chats. We all get along. But if I get a call today, forget. I'm busy. I'm at work. Get a call again tomorrow. I'm like, oh, trigger. Oh, I got to call her back. Something's going on. I got to be ready.
Yep. And it didn't matter if it was, a life insurance conversation
or anything,
finance, a job conversation. But if they 2 days in a row and someone calls, especially a family member, and says, I could really use your advice on this. This is what's happening in life right now. Well, I take it seriously. I'm going to get you back end of the day.
Of
next
course.
day. I'm going to respond, that was important to you. You called me twice. When I picked up the phone, you said, this is why I'm calling. I'll call you later to shoot the breeze.
We went straight into it. Yeah. But we'll shoot the breeze at a different time. I'll call you randomly for that. But Jake has, he's a roll call with his family members. Okay, Jake says, I'm the oldest with 5 half siblings, 2 from dad, 3 from mom. I love it. Okay, so he's got, I guess he's the only child from his biological parents.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. But Jake is an infinite banker with us. Remember, if you want to have this conversation, we will help you. We will help you get educated. We've got lots of links. We've got the knowledge. And they say that if you read 5 books on a subject, you are past 90 plus 99% of everyone else on it. We have read 5 books on this subject. And I've got 5 books. I'm 5 books behind right now, sitting out here, from peers, from colleagues, from economists, from life insurance agents. We know this stuff. So we'd love to have that conversation. The last thing I'd like to say on this little chit chat here is we are ready and willing to facilitate the conversation for you. If you don't think you are in the position to host the conversation with your family members at Thanksgiving or at the family reunion or on Sunday afternoon, if that's family day, we'll host it for you. We'll facilitate. We don't need to sell you anything. We don't need you guys to argue and get in fights, because y'all know what I'm talking. You all know which families those are. We can facilitate it. So we call it a financial family forum, maybe a family reunion, where we can talk about these important but not yet urgent things. Jonah, that has been a big conversation you've had in the last week. You've reminded us about the quadrant.
Yeah. Well, the fun thing about the quadrant. So, Sergio, tell me if you've heard of this, or anyone listening. Have you heard of the Eisenhower matrix? So it's like a T chart, okay, except put the top line in the middle. So you got 4 quadrants. And in the leftmost quadrant, it is things that are important and things that are urgent.
Urgent, okay.
Okay. And the right top quadrant, it's things that are important but are not yet urgent. Okay. In the bottom left quadrant, it's things that are not important and urgent. What is it? Not important. Yeah.
And not urgent.
Not important and not urgent. And then the bottom right is you got to help me out.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull it up so we can actually say it.
You're
well.
understanding what I'm putting together.
Yeah, I'm understanding it, but I think like not to mess you up your train of thought, but this is really important for the listeners.
Yeah, this
Where
is super big.
where does the dishes fall into place?
Yeah, doing the dishes.
There we go.
Doing
Where
the
did
dishes.
that fall? Where's that?
Well,
fall
it depends on you.
Right.
And depends on whether you got family coming over. Depends on whether or not your last
Got
cup
it.
is still dirty. Right? I mean,
Got
those are important.
Yep.
But
generally put, I'd put dishes, doing the dishes in a not urgent category. Important, not urgent.
there you go.
Okay.
Right? Important, not urgent. Okay, but here's where it gets key. The reason I brought this up is because insurance, all of them are actually land in the important but not urgent category. And all of the experts, the books that you're going to read that reference the Eisenhower matrix, say you need to live in the important but not urgent category. That's where you have to live. If you do not live there and you get stuck in the important and urgent category, you never get to prep for anything. Everything you have to take it as it comes because it was important and it's urgent. So I have to do it now. And he says you got to stay away from things that are urgent but not important. That'll distract you, like your phone ringing. If your phone rings,
urgent right now.
Urgent.
You feel like
it's
urgent,
ringing right now.
But it depends on who's calling.
But depends on what else is happening, who's calling, whether or not it's important. But because it's urgent, top email comes in. Because it's urgent, you think you need to respond to it right away. No, you don't. You actually need to live in the important but not urgent category.
So that's quadrant 2, top right corner.
That's where you get to plan, you get to schedule, you get to get in advance of whatever. That's where you get to do it. And and that was really key because when I started to look into that and learn that a little bit, I realized that all of insurance lives there. You have to buy insurance before you need it. All of insurance lives in this very important but not urgent category. Now, there are some situations and circumstances where a certain insurance could jump into important and urgent, right?
Yeah. Well, but I just want to say that our life needs to be in quadrant 2.
Yeah. I work on important things
urgent,
before they're urgent.
So it's like your health. Now, the three of us prioritize health. We actually are at the ages and stages of our life where we're still active physically because there are leagues we can join. We go to the gym. Sergio, him and the missus are in the gym the other day. I'm looking at him on Instagram. And that is important, not urgent.
Yep.
When has going to the gym to get in 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or join a class been urgent? Never.
It can be if you neglected it for 20, 30 years and now you've got the high cholesterol, right? Does that make sense? And then all of a sudden it becomes important and urgent. You weren't supposed to be there. You were supposed to be in the quadrant where it was important but not urgent. You were supposed to take care of it before it got bad. Yeah. Right?
That's an amazing philosophy.
Yeah. Well, I'm watching you get it in your mind for maybe one of the first times. So I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you
because
something.
I love psychology. I love psychology. You guys know my background is psychology, and I'm like, I've heard the concept and I've heard talks on people talking about urgent versus important, but I didn't know it came with the chart. I'm a visual person, learner, and so like what an amazing philosophy on life. Because if I'm in a stage of my life where clarity is key, right? And that's huge. That's so in alignment with what I'm trying to imprint in my mind. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you're welcome. I dropped it to you in our thread, so you can get the picture we were referencing.
Yeah, it's called the Eisenhower Matrix. You'll see lots of different charts and visuals because people put it in their books and they relate it to what they're trying to talk about and stuff like that. But I think for me, it's been really helpful because as I go throughout my day, a lot of responsibilities around the office, a lot of responsibilities around the house, things we want to accomplish and do. But I just started to categorize things and where I want to be and what do I want to work on, right? I mentioned on one of these lives just a few weeks ago, my family wants to do an overseas summer, basically, next year. Well, I should make the list of what we need and renew the passports and go get the travel insurance and register with the U.S. Embassy now. It's important, but it's not urgent. If I wait till the last minute, it becomes important and urgent. I cannot do other things. I have to take care of this. The flights are on Friday, right? And all of a sudden I spend my Monday, my Tuesday, my Wednesday. I can't do anything else. I can't relax and have fun and think about food option. I can't do it. I have to go do whatever.
Yeah.
But that's my fault. I should have lived when it was important and not urgent and accomplished those things to knock them out. Because if I do that, I never fall into this direct stealing focus, stealing energy space of I have to do everything that's important. And you know what I mean? And then you need to be focused, right? Because I can't let urgent things that are not important or less important, depending on how you want to look at it, jump in and take that away. Like there you go. Can't do it. Phone rings with a sibling. All right, I'll call him back when I've got a second, right? Does that make sense? I mean, that's just how you have to, that's how you have to do it. And then again, there's the bottom right, which is not important and not urgent. And we have lots of those things. And the Eisenhower matrix will tell you to get rid of those.
Eliminate.
Eliminate. We're not important and not urgent. Don't
eliminate, delegate, automate. You have to understand that too, which is a whole nother philosophy. But do you eliminate it? Do you automate it by setting up a reminder using a computer system or something? Or do you delegate it? Someone else in the family, someone else at the office, the kids can handle that one at home. Pick up the toys. We'll delegate it. The kids should pick up their own mess or something like that. All right, Jonah, go to the infinite banking. We got an infinite banking session here, and I think it's a good way we can close out this cash coaching hour because you said something that has to be brought up. Reminder, it is a Thursday hour we're wanting to have with you with your comments, questions, and concerns about infinite banking. And we are going to coach and facilitate you around the idea of making sure your money is under your complete control. Most people don't realize they don't have control, so they don't understand what infinite banking is about. We're going to have that conversation with you, but this is the reference guide that you want to add to your wealth building library and maybe your life philosophy, because it is going to teach you how to play the long game with your money. And Jonah, you just brought up something big time, and it is Parkinson's Law. Parkinson's Law. Work expands to fill the time allotted. Sergio, in the Eisenhower matrix here, when do people normally get to their taxes? January 1, February 1, or April 14 and a half?
Some people never. they get to it. I'm not going to call anybody out, but just know that I know a lot of people that are a couple years behind. But anyways, most people the last minute. Last minute people.
So the Parkinson's Law and the Eisenhower Matrix kind of fit into that philosophy here. You're going to learn about that because when we're talking about our money, so much noise. Nelson Nash, the author and the founder of the concept Infinite Banking, talked about noise. He used to travel and give his lecture 2 days of a series on what this was about. He used to wear headphones. And he would say, you got to eliminate the noise. If you can eliminate the noise, then you understand what's going on.
Yep.
If you cannot eliminate the noise, you'll be lost. And that's where the Matrix comes in. If you've got too much noise, you won't even be able to figure out. True or false? We talk with people. You know people, Sergio. You're always in business. You're networking. You've got a video production company. You have a family business, a restaurant, all these things. Most people live in a place daily where they don't even recognize the not urgent and important. They don't normally even recognize it. They're just busy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even get me started on that. Now I'll go for hours on the idea of drifting. Probably one of my absolute favorite books is Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
And he talks about where most people in life are simply drifting. And I think I have a little rhyme. It's like we're living in a generation of paralyzation due to the constant flow of information. And it keeps going. But it's just like the idea is it's crazy because most people are simply drifting through life on the verge of cascading over the waterfall of just nothingness. And so it's like it's wild, man. But yeah, don't get me on that tangent.
Okay, man. I've got Outwitting the Devil on an old iPod. Every time I say something, I'm just like, what was the original thing called? Pod.
Yep.
And I just charged it up 2 days ago, and I saw Outwitting the Devil on an iPod. Only books are on it. Only like generational wealth, long-term thinking, and personalization type stuff that I used to use in the gym. I used to be a janitor. I used to get my stuff in while I was vacuuming the floor. And Outwitting the Devil, Napoleon Hill.
The goal is not to drift. The goal is to be obviously in control.
Now, Sergio, one last tidbit as we close out this hour. Remember, we are back next week, but you can go to thebankingbros.com. It's the most updated website that we have. We do have another one, but we'll put the link there for you.
Bankingbros.com.
Okay, bankingbros.com, where you can get into a free consultation, one-on-one or two-on-one, if you and the plus one want to join a conversation with Sergio, with Jadu, with me. Sergio, where's the best place we can link to for you specifically?
Yeah, no, just on my social media. So you can go to Sergio or Search Pro 11 on my social media, DM me, and then I can direct you from there. Yeah, Search Pro 11, and I think one of the people watching asked for a link to the quadrant, so we can send that as well. But yeah, my stuff's super simple to find. It's Search Pro 11 on Instagram, or Protect Your Legacy on Instagram as well.
Love it.
Yep, so it's on there.
Okay, and Eisenhower Matrix, like the President Eisenhower, that's what it is. If anybody needs to Google that right now, and we lose track of you, or you lose track of us. So the last thing here that I wanted to say as we close it down is, Sergio, have we talked about this? Did you know? Have I told you? We talked about protecting your legacy. We talked about dying. We talked about getting old. We talked about being ready for it. Do you know where Napoleon Hill is buried?
Oh, you know what? I believe it was in. It's right up the street from us. I can't.
Yes.
Is it Gaffney? I believe it's Gaffney.
Yes, I've been to his marker. Yes.
It's super interesting. I follow a lot of his stuff, especially the what do they call when they first print the book before they print the book?
Manuscript.
The manuscript. Yeah, the manuscript of that book, Outwitting the Devil, is super interesting to learn about. But yes, I know it's all within the South Carolina PC area, I believe.
Yeah, so he worked at Presbyterian, or his wife worked at Presbyterian.
His wife worked, something like that. Yeah,
Presbyterian
super cool.
College. Yeah, crazy. Russell Brunson, you guys know who that is, right? Russell Brunson bought all of Napoleon's library, the whole thing from the family, like 2 years ago.
No way, really?
He bought everything.
No,
he's got everything.
No wonder he's got so much wisdom.
He's making money. Yes, he bought the whole thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're out. Appreciate you being here with us for this cash coaching hour, but I think you got some life lessons from my boys out here. Jonah, one of the two banking bros, find him at thebankingbros.com, and Sergio Loaiza from Protect Your Legacy here at the Cash Compound. We'll catch you next time.
You are now tuned to the Banking Bros. Said we couldn't make it because we chose. Gave a lot of game, we never got a lot of things. Bow your head and say the prayer. We taught you how to be the bank.